Today, continuing our theme around spring and Easter, we're going to do this robin's nest full of eggs. I say robin's nest just because it reminds me of a robin's nest, but it might be any little bird's nest. And they are dyed eggs, which just fun and colorful. The picture I have is a really low DPI, which I just blew up to fit the page. And I'll show you, when I traced it, I just traced all the lines that I could see. We're going to have a lot of fun painting this today. It's all traced out, and I'm gonna just leave this under here so that I can kind of see what I'm doing. And we'll begin by color mapping. I believe what I want to do is I want to do a brown of the nest, and I'm gonna begin with my large round brush. I've got my round 16 that I'm using, and I want to start with my Van Dyke brown. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do the entire nest in this Van Dyke brown. And I'm going to keep it rather light to start because we'll be going in and darkening up different spots. So this is glazing. We are starting with a light layer and building up color. Okay, now this needs to dry and we will come back into this once it's dry. While I'm waiting for these spots here to dry, as you can see the reflection there, a little bit wet, I want to get some of these, begin to get some of the eggs with their initial coat. So I'm moving to my round 6. And I want to mix a little bit of a pink. So I'm going to take my permanent rose. I'm going to add quite a bit of water here because I want to capture this pink. So there's pink. I'm going to grab a green for over here. And I'm trying to think of what color green would I like. I think I'm going to go with the hooker green, add a good amount of water, and lighten that up over here. And let's see, I think everything is now touching something that's wet. Yeah, so I'm gonna let things dry, but letting that dry and we'll come back to it when it is dry. I can now do this egg, and it is yellow. And I'm using the Windsor yellow here. And this Windsor yellow is going to be here. Okay, so we've got those 3 eggs. And then I'm going to do a blue. And let's see. Do want to be careful, this yellow is still wet, so I'm going to leave a little bit of a line there. And there's a very dark blue here and then a green back here, but I'm going to need this to dry. While I'm waiting for some of these eggs to dry, what I want to do is start adding detail to my nest. So at the moment, I don't want to get too close to the eggs that are dry, but I can begin to darken up some of these places that are not close to the eggs. And I'm actually gonna try to get in here a little bit because I just can't help myself. Okay, so now I want to come back to this yellow and I want to try to just bolden that up. So I'm looking at where I see the highlights and I'm just trying to capture where I see the yellow darker, bringing that in, kind of bringing that in like this and a little touch like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this wet and bring this color in here a little bit more and like that. So we've got those highlights in there. I'm going to do the same thing, picking up my yellow, and then it is quite a bit darker over here. And then just rinsing my brush off, pulling that pigment in like so. It is all dark in here, so I'm gonna make that all dark right here. Like that. And this blue right here, I'm gonna darken that up. And the color I'm using the French Ultramarine, and it's a pretty nice blue. So we're gonna go ahead and bring that in like so. That green might be a little bit wet still, so I'm gonna be a little gingerly with that. Getting my brush just wet, bringing the color over. And around. And I'm gonna do that same thing. Well, this yellow is still pretty wet, so I wanna hold off on that. We're gonna let that dry and we'll come back in there. And in the meantime, I can work on some of the detail of this little nest here. All right, so it is starting to come together. Let's take care of this one. This is and while it's wet, I'm going to really just kind of get this little shadow in here. And then this color back here, that is that robin's egg blue, but I'm gonna mix my cerulean and my Indian Theron but I need to be careful not to hit the yellow. Then back here, this is the green. I'm gonna grab that green and I'm pulling up the permanent sap here. Okay, now I'm gonna take this permanent sap and bring that color in. I really want to mix it with the hooker green. I want to brighten it up, and there we go. I feel like it's dark around these edges. And then I'm going to grab this purple, I'm going to lighten it up, and I want to play in some of this area over here. darkening some of these areas up, giving it a little in here. A little bit of water, and then I'm just gonna I think wanna just bring a little bit more of the shadow in here. And when this dries, I'll come in with more green in there. So just letting this color kind of develop and pop just a little bit. While that's drying, I might try to just, again, a little darker down in here. Darkening, darkening, darkening. And I will want to darken up within this basket a little bit, but I want to let this dry before I get into those spots. Let's darken up. I think this green over here, it is still a little wet, but I do think that I can darken that up. I want to just get this in here like so. And let's see. I want a really, really, really dark brown in this right here. All right, so this brown is bleeding into my green. I want to be careful here with that. There we go. Okay, so this really dark color is just great. It's really, once we get this nice and dark, it's setting this back. It's setting the basket deeper. Okay, this is just looking fantastic. You do have a little tiny shadow there. And I've got this really dark blue here. Okay, now I think I want to make one of these a little pinker. So I just added a little bit of a pink to that one. And this blue, I want to add a little more blue to this. Bring this around here. And I think we have got it on this one. Maybe darken it up just a little bit down here. And that blue in here. And let's see, I could bring, if I want to get real fancy about it, I could take some of this raw sienna and I could kind of bring that in here like a little shadow. And under here, with the raw sienna, and that's right here. And even a little raw sienna under here. And there we go. I think that our bird's nest with our beautiful Easter eggs is complete. I hope you had as much fun as I did with this one, and I can't wait to see what yours looks like.